was 3, he didn't leave much to Mom and me. Just some geklapte shyness and a shirt that looked like a schmatter. Now I don't blame him cause he run and hid, but the meanest thing that he ever did was before he left, he went and named me Zlata. Well, he must have thought that it was quite a joke, and it got a lot of laughs from a lot of folk. And it seemed I was always fighting on account of my tata. Some Rebbie'd smile and I'd get red, and some guy'd laugh and I'd bust his head. I tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Zlata. Well, I grew up quick and I grew up mean, and when it came to a fight, I got gewiss was a teen, and I roamed from stiebel to stiebel to hide my shame. But I made me a vow I intended to keep. I'd search everywhere and I wouldn't sleep till I found the man that gave me that awful name. Well, it was up in Woodburn back in '79, and I was having pizza with some buddies of mine when a man that looked familiar walked into the place. Well, he ordered himself up a mushroom pie, and he glanced at me and I caught his eye, and I knew it was him the minute I saw his face. You see, I knew that guy was my own sweet dad from a worn-out picture that my mother had, and besides, he was wearing a shirt that looked like a schmatter. He was big and bent and gray and old, and I looked at him and my blood ran cold, and I said, "Shalom on you, how do you do? My name is Zlata." And I poured my soda all over his pie, but he just smiled, didn't bat an eye. He just smashed that soggy pizza all over my face. So I reached out to a paper dish, and I come up with a potato knish, and I held it high and chased him all over the place. Then he jumped on a table and he pulled off his belt, and he gave me a zets like I'd never felt. I tell you, looked like he was gonna go wild. But then that table collapsed out from under his feet, and he crashed through the window and out to the street. And as I stood over him, he looked up and he smiled, and he said, "Son, this world is rough, and if a man's gonna make it, then he gotta be tough." And I knew I wouldn't be there to help you along. So I gave you that name and I said goodbye. I knew you'd have to get tough or die, and it's that name that helped to make you strong. Now you just fought a gewaltige fight, and I know you're angry and you got the right to get even now, cause I treated you like a schmatter. But you ought to thank me before you do for the cholent in your guts and the kishka too, cause I'm the that named you Zlata. Well, I really felt bad, so I asked him Mechila for what I'd done, and I called him my dad and he called me his son, and I come away with respect for my good old tata. And I think about him every now and then, every time I try and every time I win. And if I ever have a son, I think I'm gonna name him Zundel, Fischl, anything but Zlata.